Hello, everyone. It's Shantae Moore, certified financial educator. I'm an investment advisor representative, a fiduciary. Those are all just big words for saying that I teach people how money works. So welcome back to my channel. Hello, and welcome to all of my new subscribers. Thank you again for everyone who continues to comment, like, subscribe, share, hit the notification button so that you can be notified when I upload a new video and a new financial tip for you. So today's video is a continuation of another video that I recorded to talk about 401ks, do's and don'ts. So in the first video, I really just explained what a 401k account is, how it works, a lot of the tax, associations to it. Kind of just the more basic, this is overall how a 401k account works. But in this video, I actually want to give you some do's and don'ts of what to do with your 401k. And again, this applies to any workplace retirement account. So if you have a 401k, if you have a 403b, or if you even have a 457 plan. So, and if I'm looking down, it's just because I'm looking at my notes that I wrote down. So I want to go over the don'ts first, because hopefully you'll watch the whole video, but sometimes people don't click, and stay to the end to get all the information. So at least I want to get you well aware of what not to do with your 401k. And the first don't is, do not make the mistake of actually not putting money into it and not investing it. That's the biggest mistake. I had a client that I was working with. He worked at a really well-known logistics company for, at the time when I first met with him, about 10 years. And come to find out, he did not put not one single dollar into that 401k. And I was like, oh my God. I was like, oh, do you know how much money you probably missed out on? And I'm talking about thousands and thousands and thousands of dollars. And his whole reasoning was, well, I wanted all my money to come to me, my paycheck. I didn't want to put it into the retirement account. And I was like, I can't blame you, because, HR, they really don't do a great job of educating people about these accounts and the benefits of them. And needless to say, he's contributing to it now. But, he missed out on so much money. And the whole premise of why you should contribute to your workplace retirement account is, number one, the money that you put in goes in before taxes. So you really won't even notice a big difference in your paycheck. But because it goes in before taxes, that also lowers your taxable income. So the overall amount that you'll be paying in taxes at the end of the year will be much lower, because a certain amount of your money went into your 401k. And most times, most people, the average American worker, employee, generally their workplace retirement account is probably their biggest investment account that they'll ever have. So if you don't put money into your 401k, your retirement account at work, where else are you going to have money? Where else will money come from for retirement? Is it going to fall out the sky? I don't know. Unless you're planning on depending on whatever Social Security money might be there. I hope that if you are not putting money into your 401k, you're at least setting money aside and investing it somewhere else for the long term for retirement. But don't make that mistake. Take advantage of it. The second don't that I wanted to share is you don't want to use your 401k like an ATM machine. So let's say you're smart. You've been putting money into it, right, consistently, and then it's grown to, a couple thousand. Maybe it's like $5,000, $10,000. It might even be $50,000 in there. And you're thinking, you know what? I want to take a nice vacation. I'm going to pull out $5,000 from my 401k. Now, if you're still working with that employer, it wouldn't actually be considered a distribution, so you would not be paying the 10% penalty. You would actually be just taking a loan out on your money that you'll have to pay back with your money. And also, when you pull that money out, because it's never been taxed, and you take that loan, guess what? You'll be paying taxes because you've never been taxed. And then let's say you even pay the loan off and now you retire. Guess what? The IRS is going to tax you again, because that's when they tax the 401k monies. So I say all that to say is that if you're putting money into your 401k, you should be putting it in without no intentions of touching it whatsoever. you want to work with someone like me, because then I would help you actually create money to set aside for travel and emergency fund, so that you don't have that desire or feel like, oh, well, I have this money in my 401k, let me just use some of that. No, you're actually hurting yourself, because you're just taking away from your own retirement. Again, where will this money come from in retirement if you don't make a good effort to actually save it? And you spending the money that you saved, it's just going to put you back further. The third tip that I wanted to share is, when people have their 401k, I see it a lot. Nobody talks to employees about how to invest the money inside the 401k. So when you contribute to it, it's not just sitting there in cash. You actually have to pick investments of what to choose to, invest your money in. A lot of times people don't know, but the biggest mistake I see is that people will copycat some investments that their, Joe Schmo in the cubicle sitting next to them is doing. Or, they're trying to time the market and they're changing things up around on their own. The biggest mistake is, don't try to invest this money on your own. Seek out some professional guidance, and I'll talk a little bit about that at the end of the video. But don't get in the habit of, well, let me move this around, or let me do what this person is doing, and the 401k generally is a long-term account. You have time to let that money do its thing and let it go. So don't get in the habit of, let me switch this, let me switch that. No, don't, especially if you're doing it on your own and you don't know what the heck you're picking anyway. So that's the third don't. Now, the fourth don't that I wanted to really emphasize is, don't make the mistake of putting too much money into your 401k. I see this all the time. I probably should have talked about it first. A lot of times people will put in way too much money into their 401k, in my opinion. As a general rule of thumb, you should contribute no more than whatever your company matches you, which a match is saying, if you put in $1, they'll match $1, up to a certain percentage. They might say, we'll match you, 3%, dollar for dollar, up to whatever. So whatever that percentage is, whatever that match is, that's all you should contribute. And you're like, why, Shantae? I know I can put in a lot more money and I really want to save for my retirement. Well, here's the thing. While the 401k is a great account to use to start saving for your retirement, because of the tax ramifications, number one, the money goes in before pre-taxes. While it's growing, while it's investing, you don't pay taxes. But our favorite Uncle Sam, he's going to come and tax you at some point, and he taxes that money in retirement. So you've grown this account to a huge nest egg, right? Like hopefully you have hundreds and thousands of dollars in that account by the time you retire. Uncle Sam's like, yeah, now I want to go and tax her. That's when I'm going to get my cut. Not a bad thing. Again, when I work with clients, we talk about taxes all the time, but you have to remember, Uncle Sam will tax you on the harvest, not the seed. So you don't want to contribute so much money into a bucket that's going to contribute to this big amount that you will be taxed on. And just think about it. Do we know what will tax rates be in 5 years, 10 years from now, 20 years from now? I mean, if you're, younger like me, I have at least 30 more years before I plan to retire. And, the tax codes could change at any time. The last major tax change was back in 2017. We don't know what tax rates will be by the time we retire. So just, be cautious of that. Historically, I'm recording this video in early 2020. We're historically in the lowest tax brackets right now, the lowest tax rates in history. 30 years from now, who knows? It could be up, it could be higher. I don't know. So I'm not going to put more money than I actually need to into a bucket that I don't even know how much I'll be able to keep later on. So if you have more money to save and invest, and you really want to save for retirement, come talk to somebody like me, because there's so many other options out there of where we can help you invest that money. But do not overfund your 401k. Yes, I know you can put up to $19,000, $19,500, whatever the number is this year, but that doesn't mean that you should put in that much money. Only contribute up to the match. Take advantage of the free money that your employer offers, and that's it. talk to somebody like me if you have extra to save, and then I'll show you strategically considering taxes. Really, I'll find you a place where you don't have to pay taxes again, so that you can, continue to maximize your savings. So that's all the don'ts. Hopefully you hung in there with me. If you did, put a comment in there and say, I'm here, I'm learning. So the last part of the video, I want to talk about what should you do with your 401k. So we know, number one, you should be putting money into it, right? Only up to the match. That's it. Don't put any more in there. Now, and that's actually my first do. Put only up into the match. That's it. The second thing is, if your company offers it, you actually probably have to contact HR. Contact HR and ask them, can I have a self-directed brokerage account in my 401k? What is that, Shantae? It's actually an investment account that you can open inside your 401k that gives access, like somebody like me, to invest that money for you. So when you have a 401k with your employer, the investment options that they give you are very limited. Like, you might have maybe 20, 30 options to choose, to invest in. However, if they give you the opportunity to open a self-directed brokerage account inside your 401k, then someone like me would actually be able to come in, help you manage that self-directed brokerage account, and give you access to the thousands and thousands of investment options that are out there. So you really have a choice. You could just stay limited to whatever they give you to offer, or you could get access to everything. And the whole benefit is that when you have more choices, you have better options, that we can diversify better. We can pick options that are better suited for your risk tolerance, and probably just overall better investment options in general. 401ks typically don't offer the best investment options. They really don't. Not to say they're all horrible. Some places I've seen have been all horrible. I'm like, Lord, this is the best that you have. So if they give you that option, again, contact HR and say, hey, do I have the option to open a self-directed brokerage account inside my 401k? Because then I can take that 401k and just really just blow it up. And if that's something you can do, contact me. I'll be happy to talk to you about next steps for that. And the last is a real quick and easy tip, is to make sure that you name a beneficiary for your 401k account, any of your workplace retirement accounts. Most times, when you're enrolling and setting it up, you do get the option to name a beneficiary, but I've seen some where people don't have a beneficiary listed. Just know that any financial account that you have that has a beneficiary goes directly to that person. Nobody can touch it. Nobody can contest it. It goes right to that person. No courts, no nothing is involved in that process. So I'm going to end the video there. I will say this, I try to keep it as broad as possible. Everybody's situation is completely different. So if you have questions about your workplace retirement account, or if you want some guidance, or if you want me to look at your portfolio, contact me. I'll put a link in the description box so that you can schedule some time with me. And until next time, I'll talk to you guys soon.